Right, we're good to go.
It's official now.
We are live.
So here we go, guys. The first podcast, the Three Amigos, and we can talk more about our individual stories another time. But I thought we'd start off with a quick introduction from each of ourselves. My name is Mark. I'm from the UK, a place called Langley, just outside London. I'm a designer by trade, and particularly interested in anything spiritual, meditator, plant medicine, yoga. Those are my passions, and my particular journey was started because I want to create a business around that and everything that comes with it. But as I say, we can go more into our more individual journeys and stories later. But Casper, do you want to give a quick introduction as to who you are and where you are?
I'm Casper, originally born and raised in Holland. 7 years ago I started, I closed the door behind me and started traveling. And as soon as I was on the road all over this planet, I realized that was my way to go. I just love traveling, love seeing so many beautiful things in this world. There's only one problem, is that you still need money to travel. And so I knew that I never wanted to go back to a 9-to-5 job. I went back a couple of times and it was just not for me. So I had to take my destination in my own hands there, and that's why I started my own online business and found other ways to basically work wherever I want and work on my laptop. And this is why I'm here on the beautiful island of Lombok at the moment in Indonesia. And as long as I've got my laptop and some Wi-Fi, I can work wherever I want. That's just my favorite lifestyle.
Awesome. As I say, we'll go deeper in another podcast, but that's to come. Tony?
Hi guys, I'm Tony. I'm 42. I'm from a small place called Birmingham in the UK. You may have heard of it. I work in IT, financial services. Have done all my career, software development, databases, anything IT related really. I'm a family guy, got 2 young daughters, wife. And I got started in this because I want more freedom and flexibility in my life, my family's life. I'd like me and my wife to be able to travel with our daughters during their school holidays and not worry about childcare and all the usual issues that you have when you have school-aged children. I want to be able to have that independence in our life and our family's life and do what we want, when we want and where we want to do it. So yeah, that's why I'm here.
Now, I think it's important just to start to say that how we all met and what's put us on this particular journey. We're part of a group, a larger group called Mentors as it is now. And so we're all on this journey to becoming an entrepreneur and creating our own business. But there are several offshoots to that. There are several advantages to that beyond just creating a business. And that's really what this first podcast is about. Why are we on this journey? And the thing that ties us all together is that with this pursuit of freedom, this the idea that our lives previously, not so long ago, we were frustrated, we were unhappy with something, and this journey that we're on is freeing us in some way, it's improving our lives in some way. And so that really is what this first podcast is about, what got us here and why are we on this journey in particular. So if I start, what freedom means to me is that, similar to what Casper was talking about, I was in a career that wasn't fulfilling me. I was and still am a designer, but I was working with brands who I didn't really connect with, who just weren't aligned with my beliefs and my passions, whether they be financial clients, whether they be mobile phone manufacturers, food and drinks brands. There's nothing wrong with them particularly, not doing anything bad in the world, but what I really wanted to do was to help people wake up, to help people develop and improve people's lives. So what freedom, the main thing that attracted me to this journey in the first place, is the freedom to be able to work on projects and a business that I was really passionate about, and not just working to make money, to pay bills. And so that was what really appealed to me initially. working in a way that I'm not counting down the hours to the end of the day, that I'm not counting down the week to Friday, that I'm fully involved, fully invested, and just love what I do. So that was what really attracted me, the freedom to be able to work on things that I love. Beyond that then, and I'm sure the other guys talk about this as well, is the freedom to be able to work where I want and from where I want. So ideally for me, what I'd love to do is see more of the world, and to be able to have the time to work on myself, to develop myself, particularly spiritually. So for example, when we talk about my ideal day, which we all do at the start of this journey, how I see my ideal life, my ideal day is to be able to, if I want to work from the UK, to be able to work from a coffee shop or from home, or have the option to say, go and spend 3 weeks in the Amazon, go and spend a couple of weeks in India on a yoga retreat, and really get into what I think is the real reason that we're all here in this life, which is to develop our own consciousness, which is to develop in a spiritual sense. And that's my view. We'll all have different views on this journey, but really it's about having that freedom to be able to choose when I work and from where I work from, and to be able to have the choice as to whether I want to take some time out for my own development, rather than just having 2 or 3 weeks a year that you try and fit in around your working, and it's kind of gone in a flash, and there's not really very much personal growth or development you can get from that. But even if you do go to somewhere like Thailand and sit on a beach or wherever it might be, Casper's in a situation where he lives in a place where he's connected to nature. For me, in the UK here in Berkshire, there isn't that connection to nature. So it's great to be able to, if you want a job, if you want to work, but I've got this greater calling, I feel, to be in nature and really kind of see how far I can push myself. How far can I progress towards my full potential in this life while I still can? And for me, it's not about just being sat at an office in front of a monitor for the best years of my life. I want to really explore the world and see how far I can push this, see how far I can develop in this, and use this fantastic opportunity that we've all got. So it goes deep for me, and I can talk more about my past experiences and what I hope to achieve in the future. But in essence, that's what I'm aiming for. That's what freedom is for me. Casper, I guess you've got you'd be along similar lines, I suppose. But
absolutely, yeah. Absolutely similar. And like I said in the short introduction, for me, it was actually two things that happened. Of course, I grew up in the Western world, in a beautiful country with we had everything. I had everything that I could wish for, but something just didn't feel right, and but I didn't know what that was. That was one of the things that really I struggled with. So when I grew up, of course, you grow up in a lovely family in a lovely little village, and then you go to school, you get your career and all that, and in the end, I had my house, I had a girlfriend and a lovely little dog, and that must be ticking all the boxes, and it just didn't feel right. So when I started traveling, and I basically just went on a holiday. Actually, I didn't start traveling. I went on a holiday a little bit longer, more kind of like just get away from everything and see your own life from a distance. And at that moment, I knew right away that when I saw my life from a distance, I saw what am I doing? And one of the weirdest things, especially what you also say, Mark, you are spiritual, and I wasn't brought up. Although we were the only family in the village that was not going to church. We were not atheist or against anything like that, but I didn't grow up with any spiritual background or anything like that. But the moment when I started traveling, you start to learn so much more about life and philosophy and all those things, and that opened the world for me. And people said, when I had conversations with people, they said, okay, maybe read a book about Buddhism. And one of the things I realized when I was reading about Buddhism, for instance, is why didn't I learn that at school? I never. Why am I 32, think I'm a successful businessman, I have my own company and all that, but I knew nothing about this world. I knew nothing about what was really going on and what really matters in this world. And that for me was the first step that I thought, hey, I don't want to be that, well, let me just say that to myself, or I said it to myself, I don't want to be that idiot that thinks that he's got everything, but actually it's just a make-up world that that I lived in. And but yeah, so to create that freedom, to create the time to spend on the things I want to spend on. So there's a couple of things for me there. It's the time, it's the location, the people you surround yourself with. What are your hobbies and your passions? Just like you said, what are your passions? I mean, I always wanted to write a book. I wanted to make documentaries. I wanted to show, especially after a couple of years of traveling, I wanted to show the rest of the world, hey, come on, guys. Even if you're not in the situation that you have a family, like for you, Tony, for instance, it's you got a family, you got a house, you got your mortgage, and you got all those things. It's not that you cannot do what I did, as in pack your bags and go. And I realized that myself as well. So at the moment when I started traveling and I didn't have a family and I didn't have a house because my whole life came crumbling down, I knew this is the moment I can actually go. Kind of like the universe created that moment for me. If you want to go, pack your bags now and go. And so when I was traveling, I know that for a lot of people that have, even if people have their 9-to-5 jobs and all that, I at least wanted to give them an opportunity to get away from it all for a little bit. And that's why I wrote my travel books and make my documentaries. And the reason why I'm saying that is because that is freedom to me, to have the ability to spend time on my passions and on my hobbies and on doing the things that I want to do. That was for me the main reason. But yeah, like I said in the beginning, how to do that, how to set that up, that's years and years of hard work. But hey, then again, I love a bit of hard work, right? So, and
you're not scared of that.
And in the end, it was even easier. I went back to Holland a couple of times. I went back to Europe a couple of times, and I love it, but it's just not my place. And so, in the end, it was either I have to go back every time to get some work, to going back into a 9-to-5 job, go back and travel, go back and work in a 9-to-5 job, go back and travel, or I'm just going to take my life in my own hands and I'm going to start something that I can, like you said as well, Mark, where I can work whenever and wherever. That was for me the ultimate freedom, and it is for me the ultimate freedom. I'm still not 100% there, but we're working on it, and it's absolutely inspiring to just work on those things and have that feeling of we're almost there. I'm almost at that freedom. I can almost open up that door, and it's absolutely, it's so inspiring. It gives me goosebumps even when I think about it. Yeah, that's freedom for me. Yeah,
that's fantastic. Yeah,
it's interesting because I think Tony's. Speaking to Tony yesterday about this, I didn't know that this route existed, really. I mean, I never thought of myself as a businessman. I kind of knew entrepreneurs, and I just thought I could never do that. Like, look at Richard Branson and what he's done. That's just, my mind's not made like that, you know. But it all took that kind of sliding doors moment, you know. There was a point where we just kind of suddenly realized or woke up, hang on a second, anyone can do this, and the way to do it is this, you know, create your own business around your passions. And in particular, you know, and we can talk more about this, a particular way of marketing that enables you to automate and then just frees up your life, so you're not just kind of chained to your desk from 9 to 5, you know, and all of a sudden you have these options in life, and we're all working towards it, but we can see people ahead on the path who are achieving it, and it's exciting, isn't it? It's exciting to think what the possibilities, you know.
I like that, what you said, that analogy, when you look at Elon Musk's or at, what was it again? Well, if you look at those big achievers, Branson, if you look at those big achievers, and you stand on the bottom of the mountain, they're on the top of the mountain, and you think, I can never get there. And so for me, one thing switched is that I said, I don't want to go back to Holland, so I have to do it, whatever it takes, I just have to do it. And that was one. And then when I joined the mentors and when we guys met, and just like you said, now suddenly you got some people that maybe, well, one day ahead of you, or 1 week ahead of you, or one ad ahead of you, or one step ahead of you, whatever that step might be. And suddenly it's like a ladder in front of you to watch the Richard Bransons and the big entrepreneurs, and it doesn't feel so far away. And at the same time, I started to realize, and I think you guys as well, is that you got someone behind you. So there's someone else that wants to get out of their hole in the ground. So if I share my story and if I share what I've learned, I'm actually helping someone. Something that I don't think is of value, but well, it is for all those people that are not just behind me. Everyone's got their own path, but they're struggling with their thing. And I think that's such a beautiful thing here, that it's suddenly, instead of climbing a mountain, it's just step by step by step by step. I really like that. Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be, earning millions and millions of pounds, is it? When we talk about a lifestyle business, what we're talking about is lifestyle over the finances. And, for a lot of people, they'll build a business and it turns out to not give them that ideal lifestyle, So it doesn't, what you want is enough money from your business to be comfortable, to allow you to live that ideal day. We're not talking about becoming billionaires, millionaires. We're just talking about the lifestyle.
And everyone's situation is going to be different, isn't it? To achieve financial success, financial freedom is going to be different for me, and say to you, to Casper, for what you need, for whatever your circumstances are. I know my sort of figure I need to know, that I know that if I can reach that, it gives my family freedom to do what we want to do. And it's not a significant amount of money. Obviously there's people in the mentors, some of the top affiliates, they're 6-figure plus revenue figures that they get each and every month and over the course of the year. But it's what your target is and what you need to do, and you work your business around what that threshold of freedom is for you. I know what mine is. I'm Mark, and Casper, I'm sure you guys know what yours is. Mm-hmm. But I didn't come here to become a millionaire. I came here for freedom, and I don't need to be a millionaire to deem myself a success or anything like that. I just want to be here to be happy, my family to be happy, to travel, to see the world, educate my daughters on the big wide world that's out there, and do the stuff that I wasn't able to when I was growing up. And I think since I've hit the second half of my life now, I'm getting to my early 40s, it's dawned on me more than ever that now's the time to do something about that. And I've thought for the last sort of 10 years that I want to make a change in my life. I don't want to do my corporate career until my retirement, and every few years that retirement figure just keeps getting pushed further and further back, and I don't want to be looking down the road in 10-15 years time saying I wish I'd done something and had regrets to do it and not done it, because it's one value that I want to live by, and one sort of trait I never want to have regrets when I get older. I think that's the worst thing you can experience in life, is looking back and maybe perhaps I know it's a bit more on your deathbed thinking I wish I'd done this, that and the other, and you never did it, because it's too late then. I'd rather do something, and if it doesn't work out, at least I'm satisfied that I've given it a go and I've tried my best, than never to do anything, never to try it at all, just because I can't do that, or I can't, just have that negative mindset about it. Try something, do it, and if it doesn't work out, you've got to be satisfied with that. But having regrets for me is the worst thing in life, personally. I never want to have those.
That's it. And what kind of drives me now is to think, what's the alternative? Do I go back to that career, being a corporate graphic designer, and just kind of seeing out my working days like that?
Fading away.
An option. No matter how hard this journey is, no matter how long it takes me, even if it, I have to put a substantial amount of money in, which I'm sure at some point we build up to that, but it's not an option for me to go back now. I would never be able to.
No.
I wouldn't say I'd never be able to forgive myself, but I'd get to the end of life and go, what if? I don't want to be at the end of life going, well, what if I just carried on a bit longer and I'd succeeded? I think that's it. Once you're on the journey and you start to see the possibilities around you, for me, there's no way off now. It's just all in, you know.
Yeah, keep
agree.
one step in front of the other, and you'll get there.
Yeah. I know another thing you said there about. I think it's interesting. How old are you, Casper?
Yeah, that is actually a funny one. I'm 39. And
39.
actually,
So we're all about the same age. I'm 39.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, and it actually was one of the reasons for me to step up my game. Because what happened when I travelled, it's quite difficult when you travel and I've got my own company, so that's registered in Holland, and then there was all kinds of problems with my bank. So actually I made my mum, she can, how do you say that, she can also do my financial management, which is all really nice when she can go to the bank and she's got a copy of my passport and all that. But then there was a problem, and my mum said, well, I'm getting really old right now, and you're almost 40. I can't do this for the rest of my life. And I was seriously, that hit me so hard, because I was just having fun and well, not just having fun, but living my life and all that. And I started to realize, and especially now in the day and age that we are now, my mom is 74 now, and she just went like, yeah, I can't do this forever. And I felt so guilty, and also so stupid. I was like, why? Just step up your game. Like you said, like, start your business. Come on, I can do this. It's not that hard. So I had that, and so for me, especially that 40, yeah, it was for me a bit of a thing. I went like, yeah, so okay, 39 and fooling around is okay, but 40 and fooling around, now you need to step up your game, and it was a strong feeling for me, really, and it still is. That's why. This is why we need to keep this call a bit short. I'm short on time here.
Time's ticking out. When are you 40, Casper?
September.
You've got 6 months yet, almost.
I'm 40 next month.
Oh, no.
It is. The reason I asked that question is, like, it's almost like the antidote. I just wrote down the antidote to the midlife crisis. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe it is
a watershed moment in life, isn't it? Where you're like, 40's, for some reason, that number is quite substantial. All of a sudden, I remember my dad's birthday, with his 40th birthday, you think, God, I'm getting on a bit now. I need to, if I'm really going to have an impact with my life, if I'm going to help people in the way that I want to, if I'm going to have a life that I can look back on and say, you know, I gave that everything. It's got to start now, because you're kind of halfway. You know what I mean?
It's kind of a halfway point. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Another thing, I'm glad I'm not waking up in the same way that I am now, and I'm 60. Do you know what I mean? I'm glad that this opportunity came along. It comes along at exactly the right time for you, I think. But I'm glad that it's happened now for me, and not when I'm looking at retiring, because then you don't have that amount of time that you can really make a difference with it. You know what I mean? It's not like you got to the end of the career and it's like, well, how long have I got? 10, 20 years, and I'm getting old. You still got the chance.
It's not that you're 60.
Get that freedom.
It's not that you're 60 and think, I'm going to start an online business.
Well, some people do. Yeah,
it might be, but it's rather do it now. Actually, yeah.
There are people there, aren't they, within mentors that do it? There's some for affiliates that.
Oh, absolutely. Of course, I'm not saying you can't.
No.
Yeah. It's just when that wake up moment comes, isn't it? Oh, actually, there is another way of living here.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to trade your time for money your whole life and then wait to start living when you're retired and you're old. You know what I mean? You can do it now. You can effectively travel the world now and work on something that you're passionate about. But how few people know about it? It's amazing, isn't it? No one I knew was talking about this.
Well, that's kind of what I meant earlier. Is that when I started traveling, it was an eye-opener on so many levels. Like, I didn't know there was other things possible. You just grow up in a certain way and you think that's the way. And no, that's not the way. It's in my case, I can say personally, it was a ridiculous way. I don't know who came up with the whole schooling system that I got and creating the career that I had to, well, I thought was the right thing to do, but it wasn't. It didn't make sense at all. But I didn't know that because I didn't see the other side of the wall, basically. And so the moment I saw what was possible, like living here and doing an online business is possible, and so why not do that? It is. It's not that, but a lot of people just don't know about it. Indeed, yeah.
Yeah, because everyone's conditioned, especially Western society, aren't they? That you go to school, you do well, you get your exams, all with the aim to get a good job and a good career, isn't it? It's just how Western society works. It's just how the schooling system works. And for me, I'd love it for my children and other people's kids of this generation now. If schools did educate them more on other possibilities, other avenues of earning an income, earning a career, earning a life, and give that sort of more entrepreneurial education. Bring people in, bring other mentors out in from school, and whether they get to their further education, university, and give them more options. Because for us, like from when we were growing up in the 80s and 90s, it was very much that regimented linear path, isn't it? You go to school, you do well, you listen to your teacher, do your exams.
It was quite difficult to start an online business in the early 80s.
With no internet.
Yeah, okay, but there's still entrepreneurs, what I'm saying.
That's true.
Yeah. Of having that sort of mindset that you can actually forge a life on your own terms, doing your own thing, and not having to, as the term goes, trade your time for money and work and be an employee. It'd be nice if the educational systems would give more credence and more time into educating people on how to be the employer, and either that you're a solopreneur or you go into partnerships or anything like that. I find a lot of people only discover this way of working after they've gone down the traditional route for 10, 20 years, and they've grown tired of it then and looking for alternatives. Which is why I think you'll probably see a lot of people in and around our age group who are now discovering that and wanting to make that change.
Yeah.
Because they have grown tired of the traditional methods of working, of being that employee and working for someone else, and only having X amount of weeks holiday a year, and you can't take it when you want to, and so on and so forth. Do you understand?
One thing that you just said, and Mark, you talked about this earlier as well, is where when we talk about education, and you both have kids, and Mark, you said that you wanted to show your daughter that. What was it exactly that you said there?
Well, I went on one of my, what should I say, one of my spiritual courses, let's call it that. And one of the things we were talking about is shedding the past. And one of the things I was talking about was the fact that at the time I wanted to go freelance because I was just so unfulfilled and bored in my corporate graphic design job. And anyway, this lady said to me, because I was unsure whether to make this jump to freelance. I mean, there is a bit of a risk in that, and stepping away from that regular monthly paycheck, and all of a sudden you can have a good month, you can have a bad month, as I discovered, and it depends on the global situation, all kinds of things. But what she said to me that got me to move in the end was, do you want your daughter to grow up and see what you're doing and do the same thing? And that's what got me shifted, because that's what I saw growing up. That's what I saw my dad doing as an accountant and spending his whole life. He didn't mind the job, but it wasn't particularly fulfilling him. And the idea that she would grow up in the same way, just doing a job for the money, working for someone else, not particularly fulfilled. I needed to show her that it was a different way. I needed to show her that she could live a life of passion and fulfillment, and live a life that she was truly excited by and proud of. And so I needed to be an example. I couldn't watch her go down the same route as me. And I think maybe Tony would say the same things. Having kids does change things. You have to step up and show. You have a duty to show them, how to live life and what's possible, I think. Yeah,
because as a parent, you always want the best for your kids. You want more for them than you had yourself growing up, and you want to show. For me as a father, I want to give my two girls the best opportunity in life they can have, and for me, if I can show them that Daddy worked hard, Daddy made changes, Daddy did this on his own, and there's no reason why they can't do that, and I can be that example to them. That's something that's part of my why, and that drives me on. I always want to be the best example to them, because obviously kids of a younger age, they look up to their parents. They are their role models, and we have responsibilities as parents to be role models to our kids and show them that yeah, you can do things on your own terms, work hard, take a risk, follow your passions, follow your dreams. And if it doesn't work out, I'll always back you 110% if whatever they want to do, as long as they give it a go. And rather than just saying, oh, well, I can't do this, can't do that. No, give it a go. I will back you. And if it doesn't work out, we'll try something else. But at least they've given it a go and they've tried their hardest, and they've not just sat back on their laurels and thinking, oh, everything will just fall into my lap. Because I want them to work hard. I want them to be their best versions of themselves and have a great life. You know what I mean? They've got the whole world. The whole world's out there for them. The whole life's ahead of them. Make the most of it. Because so many people just sit back and don't do anything about their life and just sit on autopilot too often. And I don't want that for my kids anyway.
Mm. Do you think, this is going to be our next question, can anybody do this? Because what's changed things is first of all the internet and now social media, in the sense that anybody has the potential to reach, millions of people potentially. With social media, anyone can create an account and in that sense influence people. But what does it take, do you think, to succeed on this journey, and can anybody do it?
Mindset's the big thing for me. You've got to have the right mindset, which is why I think when you start off on the mentors training modules, that one of the first thing that they get you through is to get your mindset right. Work on your personal development, switching off from any previous limiting beliefs that you have, and just setting your mind and your focus correctly that you can do this. And they do say to you a lot that anyone can do this if they apply themselves, they're willing to open their mind, adopt the right attitude, the right mindset. Anyone can learn the technical skills, that's all done. They walk you through that hand by hand. And I truly believe that anyone, if they adopt the right mindset, they can do this and learn the skills and do it. It may take some people longer than others. Some people are great and they pick it up in a few months. Or like Holly yesterday, Mark, a few days. But yeah, I think given time and the right attitude, I don't see why anyone can't follow this venture themselves and create their own life online.
Yeah, I agree.
It's consistency, isn't it, as well? Just like there are going to be times on the journey where I felt it recently, just a bit lost and a bit despondent. It's like any challenge, really. It's, just like, but you need to have, and this is the great thing about mentors. I don't want this to just be an advert for mentors, but that community is crucial. You try and do this on your own. Maybe someone could do it on their own. I wouldn't rule it out, but I certainly would have no chance. I did try on my own and I was getting absolutely nowhere. You've got to have that community around you, and you've got to have somebody who's walked the path and can lead you when you do get a bit lost on the journey. It's crucial.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, I think that what you said there as well, like consistency is it sounds quite of like just like school again, right? You need to do this, but actually the moment when you know why you are doing this, like for instance for me, if I have days that I think no I really don't feel like working on it, I wish I'd just go surfing all day, or I wish I'd just I know wait no I'm doing this because if I set this up right, I can go surfing every day. And so I know my whys, and for everyone it's a different why, of course, like whether it's your kids or whether it's traveling or whatever it is. At the moment you know your why, it's consistency, kind of like you're your own mom going like, come on, do your homework. And actually at the end of the day, even if it's 1 hour of doing something, you feel like, I'm one step closer to my dream life. And so it's not even consistency as in a burden. It's really just, and that's why what you said as well, Mark, that we are with such a massive group and so many people all over the world, in all those different time zones as well. I just literally got a WhatsApp in now during this call, like, hey, are you still awake? I know this is someone that just wants to have a little chat, from, what is it, Capo Verde, just wants to have a little chat on something that they are thinking about. And I don't know what it's going to be, but most probably she needs a little kick under the butt, or maybe she's got an idea on one of my projects. And that, so we're all working towards that dream that we have, although there are different dreams. But I think that makes it extremely energetic for all of us to work on it instead of a burden or to-do lists, right?
It's not. It's not like traditional work where you know, like a 9 to 5 type job. It's not like where you're like, well,
you're working for yourself. That's the most important thing.
That's what I'm getting to. It's so different when you're doing your own project. You know, instead of thinking, like I said, clock watching or counting down the day, it's like you want more time. You know, you look at the clock and it's midnight. You're like, oh, should I just do a bit more? You know, I need to get a bit of sleep in, ideally. You know. But you've just got to be disciplined. But it's so different when it's your own project. It suddenly doesn't feel like work. It's like it's like
I
play.
totally agree.
It's fun.
Yeah, because you're not clock watching, and I could over the weekends and when I'm not doing my day job, I find I can just lose 4, 5, 6 hours. And my wife said, "Are you coming down? You're going to come and do that? Like it's the weekend? Like really? Oh, hang on." And I look at the watch. Yeah, it's like 4 hours have passed by, and you just seem to lose yourself in what you're doing, and there's always something to work on, especially in the early stages for myself. I have a constant to-do list that seems to get bigger every day rather than shorter as I find new stuff to do, and that can cause overwhelm as well. As I've had quite a few episodes of overwhelm in the time I've been here and setting up my own business. But I just have to keep reminding myself to be patient, acknowledge that I'm still making progress, and then just concentrate on the next sort of 1 or 2 things that I need to move forward, rather than, and then just put everything else to the others to one side and almost forget about it for now, because there's just so much you can consume and do. You can just get lost, but keep yourself concentrated. Just keep your mind on what you need to do to move forward, and just keep yourself a couple of steps ahead on that. And I find that really helps me anyway, because like you say, I could spend every waking hour doing this stuff, and I do pretty much.
That's all our aims, isn't it, really, to do this full time.
And then unfortunately Monday morning comes around and it's back to work again.
Time for money again.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just how it is. But I still need to earn a living on the side. But at some point in the future, once I've got all this running, it's working for me. Hopefully, this become more of a passive income, and I ultimately replace my 9 to 5 income and my wife's. So I'd like to retire my wife at some point. We can work on this together as a family. That's a big aim of mine, and that will come. I'm working towards it every day. I'm learning to be more patient with it. I'm grateful that I've got the job that I have. That I can work from home, and it affords me to fund my online ventures. But yeah, ultimately, I want to replace it at some point in time, and I'll get there.
Yeah, the great thing about this journey is that you can do it around your job, isn't it? And in fact, they don't encourage you to leave your job. You know, it's like, be grateful and use it. You know, that's like,
see it as a blessing.
It really is like the foundation, the basis for it, because the advantage of like an online or a digital business is that you're not having to dedicate like a brick and mortar business where you just have to invest loads of money and loads of time and just totally commit. It's like, okay, I can learn the skills on the side. I can put what money I have available and invest it. You know, you don't have to quit your job and just go full into this business. You can just take your time, do the training, and just slowly, like for me, it's, my goal in 6 months is to quit the full-time job and go back to freelance. So it's like a 50-50 relationship. 50% is going to be freelance design, 50% would be my own online business, with the goal in a year to have moved over completely. So it doesn't have to be a full kick your job out and go for it, although some people do. It can be a gradual thing that you do on the side of your full-time job. Yeah,
that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to initially, once I can start generating some consistent revenue, is to retire my wife first, and that will help with childcare over the school holidays and and that sort of stuff. And then ultimately I'll then start with doing less days or less hours in my job, and go from a full-time to part-time, and then gradually phase out over, say, like over 6 to 12 month period, and do this full-time. That's the big aim here for me, as for all of us.
So guys, what I thought we'd kind of, how far are we in? Yeah, we got plenty of time, but you know, something that they do at the start, as I mentioned before, is like talk about and get clear on your ideal day and what that looks like. I was just thinking about that then. It's been a while since I've done mine, but you know, mine really is around combination. It's a bit different when you've got a family. You can't necessarily go and travel the world. Well, I suppose you could do, but mine would be in combination with my family. So my ideal day really was being in somewhere like Australia, and having the option to wake up in the morning and do my yoga and meditation, and then maybe, you know, take a walk down the beach, and, you know, to have my family with me while I'm creating these new experiences as well. And, you know, with this, because when I heard about the whole affiliate marketing thing, which we can talk about in the future if anyone doesn't know, it was like a light bulb moment for me. I suddenly saw how you could create a business without you having to completely dominate your life. So what my ideal day was, that in having the freedom to maybe have the morning to work on meditation or yoga and spend some time with my family, and then maybe take some time in the afternoon to work on my own business, to check in with how everything's going for me, and, you know, having some time in the evening perhaps to again check in with my family, to just mix it up and do exactly what I want to do when I want to do it. And that was how I saw my ideal day, being somewhere like Australia, and then having the option to come back to the UK to maybe take you know, a couple of weeks out and do a spiritual retreat, but all the time having my family in my mind, being able to watch my daughter grow up, being able to give support to my wife as well. But I was wondering if you could remember, what did your ideal day look like when you did it at the start of the journey?
Casper, you want to go? No? Okay, yeah. I still think of mine every morning when I wake up. I try and just sort of visualise it for a bit, and it just sort of hits me at autopilot. But for me, it's me and my wife really enjoy taking our girls down since they've been young, down to like the likes of Devon and Cornwall, and down the coastal towns and seaside towns down here in the UK, and Wales a lot. We've done many holidays, many trips down Devon, Cornwall, and over in Pembrokeshire in South Wales. We love it. Anywhere near the coast and the sea, especially where I live in the middle of the UK. I'm probably in the most landlocked part of the UK, smack in the centre, and so anytime we spend near the sea and the coast, and it's fabulous. So for me, it's waking up in whether it's a little holiday home, a little cottage near the coast, and waking up and doing some yoga, and then going for a run and a swim, and doing some work, having a nice leisurely breakfast with my wife and my girls, and then doing some work for 3-4 hours in the day, doing some calls, webinars, answering some emails. And later on in the day, then we all go down to the beach, walk down the little coastal path down to our local beach, and just having a play down there. And yeah, it's that for me is fabulous. Those are the times that have always made me the happiest. Seeing my girls play in the sea and the beach, making sandcastles. It's nothing complex for me. It's quite simple, but that's the stuff that brings a smile to my face and makes me want to do the best I can to get this up and running and working. Because if that was something I could do, whether it would come the summer holidays, and because I want us to travel, but ultimately I'd like to just have a little getaway in the UK somewhere that we could just go to at weekends and school holidays, and just a little cottage by the coast. Yeah, that'd be fabulous for me. I'd love that.
Can we?
Oh, you took me away with you there.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, can we just put the music of Peter and the Wolf underneath that? When you're just walking through the meadow. I closed my eyes there. It was beautiful.
I was with you.
I want you to call me just before bedtime, please. Yeah, tell your story again.
Okay, we'll do.
No, mine is absolutely similar. So for me, it's two things basically. Is that passive income is one of the things, especially as a traveler. When I make documentaries, so when I made my documentary with the tribe, I'm living with the tribe for 4 months, and as a freelancer, that's 4 months of no income at all, and that just didn't work anymore. The same when you write a book. It took me 2 years to write a book, and that's just not even a big book. And that's what I want to do. I want to write more books, and I want to make more documentaries, and I want to have the freedom. One of the weird things as well is that, especially when you talk like that, Tony, I was like, oh, I can't wait for spring, and I'll just fly over there just for the weekend, and we'll have a lovely baguette somewhere in that meadow of yours with a nice bottle of red. Yeah. Except for the fact that it would take all my savings to fly over, and I was like, I can only fly back to Europe when I've saved enough money to fly back to Europe. Or wherever I want to go, and that was something I was kind of tired of. I was like, no, I want to have the freedom to move, and so it's not even the freedom to travel. Yes, of course, I want to have the freedom of time, so the passive income. So that's why I set my business up now. So once it's rolling, once it's making and generating money, that I just can go somewhere else. I don't have to be there every minute, every second, and then. Of course, have enough income. As we said earlier, I don't have to be a millionaire. I would love it, but no, I don't think I would love it actually. But just to have enough money to have the freedom to go wherever I want to go, and that for me is, and yes, of course, if you ask me what is that dream thing, of course, it's a lovely house, not even too fancy. I don't even like it that way. But to have a house overlooking the ocean, have a dog, waking up with some proper coffee, and it's a simple day where I do what I do. And indeed, yes, I made a short movie out of that as well, in how I really want to be able to have my house on a place where I can have my walk into the woods every day, have my beach run every morning, but also have the opportunity to say, hey, I'm going to go on an Arctic journey for 4 months. And gather a team, and we're going to make a documentary or do some scientific research on Greenland or wherever. For me, that's the freedom that I want to create, and because as you know, for me, there's just too much beauty in this world, and if I just watch a documentary about South America, I go, oh, I want to go there. Oh, I've never been I've never seen the pyramids before in my life. I haven't seen the Taj Mahal. There's just so much amazing stuff on this planet, and it's not the pyramids or the Taj Mahal, but it's a mountain there or a volcano there, and I want to have that freedom to explore more of that world, but have a nice, steady home where I wake up in the mornings that I have to do some work, and then I would love my days to be like this, where I'm on a call with some friends all over the planet. I mean, that's seriously one of my favorite things, that we are having these calls with everyone. And yeah, that's the thing I missed, as you guys know as well. That's how I imagine myself waking up, getting myself a nice breakfast and good coffee, and then instead of switching on the telly for some news, switching on this call and talk to my friends, and how is your business going, how can I help you with that. And that's what we're doing now, right? When I wake up, I've got emails from you guys, I make a tutorial for you, or you send me a link, and that's just an amazing feeling already. That is, maybe I'm living my dream life already, I don't know.
A tutorial beach.
Yeah, how I was going to frame the question to you is, like, most people certainly over here would look at your life and go, haven't you got it? Like, haven't you nailed it? But then the other thing I was going to say, just quickly, there's another lady who's part of our crew, Neve, who I hope we can have on here as well, and her story is really interesting, because it looked to me at least like she had the dream life. She was a yoga teacher in, where was she based? Somewhere in Spain, wasn't it?
Southern Spain,
and
isn't she?
Devoted her life in a spiritual sense to yoga and its teachings and living in this beautiful place, but stressed out of her mind because she was just kind of working and wasn't making much money, and life was out of balance, even though it looked from the outside like she had this dream life. So money is important, even if if you're a spiritual person, you might think, oh well, who needs money? But you've got to have that balance. You really got to have that stable income to support you as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I fully agree.
So your life, I know it looks like a dream from the outside, but obviously there's still, you still need to work on things.
Well, this is a funny thing, is that if you think about this, the reason I find this so fascinating, and of course I hear this since the day I started traveling. Of course, I'm living on a beautiful island, palm trees, and the weather is nice, but there's 160 million people in this country that live like that. Are you jealous of them as well? Have you ever been jealous of them, or you think that they live the dream lifestyle? No, I'm just living here, and people are just living here, and it's the culture, and of course the weather is nice, but that is not. So yeah, the thing, of course, the main thing, like I said, is when I decided to go here, it took me years to travel. It took me years to migrate my traditional job into a mobile job, and to convince all my clients that I could do the same work as a freelancer from a distance. That took me years, and then still I saw that my client list was dropping to, I think, like around 15 to 20%. And the good thing about that, of course, well, the only good thing about living here is that life is cheaper in general. So I could still maintain myself there, but that's why I said okay, from the outside it looks like a beautiful place. It is a beautiful place. I love it. I love the UK as well. It's absolutely beautiful as well. But it's that main income, and to finally, and basically there's that saying, and I don't really know exactly, I can't really rephrase it. I think maybe you know it, Mark, but that's what people say, like, okay, from now on it's time to actually start living instead of struggling. Because that was what I realized, that for years and years I wake up and I think, okay, how am I going to do this? I need to work, I need to do this, to this and this. My life became shorter and shorter, as in my to-do list was per day, and I just had to do what I was doing that day, and then hopefully after a couple of those days I could send out an invoice. And yes, I managed to do that for a long time, but I was living like that again, instead of going open and going, okay, let's just live the dream life. And that's what I really wanted to do, just go for it. And that's why I need a steady income, to be able to take that distance, to look to my own life, and live I live a simple life here as well. Life is simple here. As you like I said, a lot of people here, or like in a video I sent you today, Tony, is when I was in a restaurant having a chat with you. Hundreds of people came in because the restaurant was giving away free rice, which is absolutely amazing. But it also makes you realize that while we're on a call and we're talking about businesses and all those things, that I'm still surrounded with people that cannot afford their own rice. And that for me is makes me realize that, so I'm not sitting in a luxury villa at the moment. I don't have a swimming pool or that kind of stuff. But that's what I want in the end, don't we all? I mean, I don't need a big villa to being able to rent it for a weekend would be really nice. Yes, that is my step.
Yeah, it's that freelance life. I kind of before I stepped into it, I thought, oh, this is what I've been looking for. This is the answer to my prayers, But really, it's because I was initially working and I was quite enjoying it, but as soon as the economy changed, all of a sudden it became a life of stress. Even though I wasn't working a 9 to 5 and I had lots of free time for myself and my family, it's not just about that. It's about having work that you're passionate about as well, I think, because I was still doing the same work, just not as much of it, and I was more stressed out because the money wasn't coming in regularly, So certainly I can say that I tried a few different methods of working, and it was only when I tried them all that I was ready for this opportunity that came out of creating my own business. I think it's not just about not working and having loads of free time. I think it's about feeling that you're passionate, fulfilled, and making a difference through your work. You know, I don't want to not work. I want to work, but I want to be fulfilled by my work and feel like I'm making a difference.
You want to enjoy it, not endure it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get that, Mark.
That was also a thing for me that I'm doing. So as a freelancer, and well, I didn't start off as a freelancer, of course, but in my work, I've been doing it for 20 years, and it became easy. And yes, I can make my money like that as a freelancer, and it's good work. Well, the work I was doing was not even for a good cause, so it was actually not that good. So I thought this is the moment to just, like you said before as well, to change and do good things for this planet, good things for myself, and why. So I've been doing this for 20 years now. I'm actually doing this just automatically. I'm not enjoying it anymore. There's no there's no fire in it anymore, and that's also why I thought, let's just do something else, and something that where my passion is, like volcanoes and like those things and like traveling. Then I started to talk with passion again. So I wanted to make that my work and my income as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing, isn't it? It's like I knew I had a passion for all things spiritual, plant medicine, yoga, meditation, but how to create a business out of that, I had no idea really. Apart from becoming a yoga or meditation teacher, but how much money are you going to make doing that? It was it seemed like an impossible dream, my daughter getting up there.
Hey Lily.
But yeah, what you realise, and this is what I try and tell people, is that you can create a business out of anything really, as long as you're passionate about it, you're interested in it, and you talk about it, whether it's on a YouTube channel or a blog or whatever it is. If you're passionate, then people are going to listen to you and they're going to follow you. Yeah, and that's what it's more about, rather than just having like, you know, selling a product that's, you know, you think everyone's going to want to buy. It's just about being just passionate about what you're talking about.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
People will follow you.
Yeah, totally agree.
Well, there we go, guys. I think we're just about there now.
Yeah.
I've got my daughter's about to just wake up slowly. Yeah.
Great call. Great call.
Great first pod, guys. Covered a lot of ground there,
awesome,
and we'll go deeper in future pods, and we'll get a few people on that we've talked about there.
Oh, this is just the beginning. All right.
Just the beginning of a long journey. Yeah. But thanks for joining us, guys, and we'll be back soon. Bye for now.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye.
Cheers.